Hello, it's Hebby, and welcome back to the Seawing Prince special. Queen Coral has 32 sons, and in the last video, with the help of many talented artists, who you should check out through the links to their social medias in the description, we made a bunch, but not quite all of them, and that necessitated coming back for a part 2 video. It's a lovely sunny tropical winter morning, but instead of experiencing that, Whirlpool will be locked in the darkest closet that I have around, taped to the wall so that he will be forced to watch hours of the Nugget Biscuit song by Tobuscus, sped up to an unhealthy degree, until the insanity sets in and Whirlpool forgets the taste of food, water, or the sweet kiss of sunlight. Thank you so much to my Whirlpool Hate Club members, Phoenix Fire, Skywing Dad, Ninja Kitty Awakens, The Wait Zaranek Fluffle, and 8-Bit Beetle. Whirlpool will be forever tormented in your illustrious honor. And frankly, so will my labourers. I mean, fellow collaborators. They won't be seeing sunlight either. They will instead be getting back to work, you lazy, ungrateful sea dogs! And that includes my parents. They're not safe because they brought me into this world. In fact, they're explicitly stuck with me now. So naturally, I got them working. Look at them all. They're waiting for their new brothers to be born. Get a move on. And now for our first prince in this video. Prince Manty. Ow! Stop shoving me!
Hello, it's Lugana here. Which, on the off chance there are some uncultured orcs watching, is Elvish for snake brother.
This is Manty, named after a mantis-shrimp. He's still a baby, which is why he's all flat and sort of fat and lying down.
I'm more of a 3D modeler and printer, so this working with flexible medium in a world without undo isn't my preferred space. So having the advantage of sharing a house with Hebby, I just immediately went into asking for help mode. So matching the pattern to the design. I'm like, do we need seam allowance here? Hebby's like, watch the video. I channeled my inner snotlout. Why would I watch a video about dragons when I can just make the dragons it talks about? So with a fast and loose motto being in operation here, I just free-handed the cutting of the pieces, holding the pattern on the material because, 1, I chose the simple floppy beanie pattern, and 2, I'm not one of those people who believe in strict adherence to accuracy. As long as I get each piece the right length, I reckon it'll come out okay. I did make a somewhat poor choice with the horns in individually cutting out both sides. At this point, Hebby walks up and says, don't cut them separately. You haven't lined up the pile. The pieces will move when you try to sew it and it won't work. It would likely have holes. Bar to your rules, I say. I'm going ahead anyway. They did come out a little bit wonky and uneven. When doing the back frill, I again made a slightly poor choice and had started to cut out the saw shape, and Hebby walks up. Just cut a large rectangle, fold it over, then sew the shape. It's easier. Then when you turn it inside out, it'll form the spines. Well, that was a great bit of advice, which saved much time. So, okay, Mr. Rules, I choose to follow that one. For the wings, the longer pile material is really slippery, which is why it feels so good, but the sewing machine foot won't grab it, so I gave up and requested some shorter pile minky. While pinning and sewing the body, along comes Mr. Mark it, draw it, and all that stuff.
I'm very curious here how this is... Oh, at least it goes to that. What the heck is going on here? Where's its butt? I can't help you there.
Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah.
I decided to sew the head on the machine because I don't believe in hand sewing. Not in the same way I don't believe in lizard overlords because there is no evidence, but because we developed these machine things that relegated such activities to peasants and those who require a higher level of symmetry than me. Side note, if lizard overlords do exist and are watching, they should not require my belief in their existence to rule, so theoretically shouldn't be offended and need to cause my demise. In the end, my myriad of wonky choices isn't too noticeable, and I think if anyone is watching this, is new to sewing and thinks they won't be able to make one, they should try the simple beanie plush. Jeez, I seem to have created a yeetable beastie I'm not ashamed of.
Anyways, on to the next prince, Prince Azure, made by Jen/Midnightwhisper.
Hello, my username is Midnightwhisper, and my creation here is Prince Azure of the Seawings, and my cat is butting in on the recording for attention. I made Prince Azure here out of fleece fabric stuffed with polyfill filling and armature wire for posability. I'll be showing his posability on screen. His wings could bend, and limbs, and so forth. The idea I had with him lore-wise was mostly that he's a bit untrusting, since there was the lack of closeness between Queen Coral and her sons. I imagined him being roughly Turtle's age, maybe a tad bit older. For some reason, his glow markings aren't cooperating with me or activating, though they dried for a day. But I did use Tulip glow-in-the-dark puffy 3D paint. Thank you for letting me in on this project.
And now for Prince Undertow, made by ADH Dream 1409.
This is Undertow, the oldest of the Seawing princes. The only older sibling was Orca, making him the oldest surviving child of Gil and Coral. Undertow is an adventurous soul, constantly seeking to learn new things and explore new places. In spite of his wanderlust, he remains a very encouraging and supportive brother. He enjoys finding trinkets and treasures to hide as gifts for his brothers to find. Before Orca's death, the pair were extremely close, rarely seen without one another. After her passing, he became very depressed and subdued. He wears her pearls as a way to hold on to her memory. With the continual deaths of the princesses, Undertow's sadness only grew. Eventually, Coral decided to bring him with her to the Summer Palace to meet their ally. But when he saw Blister for the first time, he instantly knew that she would spell disaster for all Pyria if she became queen. Not wanting to risk the lives of all his people, and especially the lives of his brothers, Undertow fled the kingdom with the hope of finding some way to stop the war without being wiped out, or allowing Blister to take the throne. To his great surprise, one of Blister's guards, a young dragoness who shared his opinions on the menacing Sandwing princess, decided to join him. Before long, Undertow and the Sandwing Sonora fell in love and were married. Though it pained him to leave his brothers behind, he knew that someone needed to end the war, and he couldn't do that from within the Sea Kingdom. Undertow soon began to gather other dragons who had abandoned the war for the sake of loved ones. Eventually, he returned to the sea on a large scavenger vessel stolen from the original crew by his own dragons and several scavengers being held prisoner by the sailors. Although Undertow himself never ended up stopping the war, news eventually reached him about the Dragonets of Destiny appearing and crowning none of the sisters queen, but another non-royal Sandwing instead. With his reason for leaving the kingdom being resolved, Undertow was left in a state of internal conflict. If he returned to the Sea Kingdom, what would happen to his crew? To his wife? To their Dragonet? For all he knew, his brothers hated him for leaving and wouldn't even want to see him. Coral might even execute him for abandoning the kingdom. For now, Undertow remains on his ship with his crew, grappling with these questions and what the future holds for him.
Crikey, it's a crab. Oh, it's a big one. Hello, Mr. Crab. Hello. Snore, take my picture. Did you get it? Got with the crab. Yeah. My crab.
Next up is Troopercat's prince, Prince Boto. Boto is just a sweetheart. He often gets overstimulated by all his brothers, so he can usually be found swimming on his own. He has made friends with many sea creatures that live near the palace. They often follow him around during his solo swims due to his warm body temperature. He does everything he can to keep his fish friends safe, and is heartbroken whenever he finds out any of them became a snack to one of his fellow Seawings. He wants to create a safe sanctuary for his sea creature friends someday where they can be safe. Next up is Prince Foam by Inkwing. Foam is an open-minded but shy dragon prince. He never seemed to connect with his brothers, always feeling left out. He took care of turtles instead and played with them, until the day he connected with his brother Froth because of their passion for marine life. Together they ran away to help protect the sea life. And next up is Prince Froth, made by Eternal. Now for Beryl's prince, Tamja, who gets eaten by chickens, of course.
Tamja, a Seawing prince, son of Queen Coral, was hatched in her second clutch of eggs. He is 13 years of age, and enjoys finding and documenting new types of sea slug. Tamja is also blind in his right eye due to an accident when he was young. He is dedicated to his research, and has traveled all over Freya.
And now for Prince Beluga, made by King Rauru. Prince Beluga was known for his extreme intelligence at a very young age. He was known to form fully formed sentences right after he hatched. As the youngest sibling of the same clutch that included Princess Orca, he always found himself feeling belittled by his siblings. Sassy but well-meaning, Beluga isn't afraid to tell you the truth, even if it hurts. He enjoys traveling in secret to the Icewing Kingdom and has pursued a secret relationship with an Icewing guard. He loves swimming in the ice-cold waters with his boyfriend. Now it's time for my mother's plushie, Prince Eddy.
Hello everyone, this is Hebby's mother, and I have made a video of how Eddy, the glorious now named Seawing Prince, came into existence. First I chose a colour palette and then used Hebby Jr.'s pattern to cut out all the pieces. I then started sewing him all together. I put the spine and the back pieces together, and I made all the little ears and horns and sewed his extra oversized wings together. Then the little foots and legs were sewn together, and lots of sewing and stuffing and sewing. Later, I was ready for the eyeballs. However, I could not decide on which eyes I liked best, as you can see. Anyway, and now I introduce to you Eddy, the Prince of Seawings. He is almost 3 years old and loves to sit on rocks at the beach for hours watching the waves roll in. Eddy loves the colour blue best, and his favourite number is 3. Eddy can't wait to grow up and fit his giant wings. He is a dreamer, and he believes that one day he will be really important and a dragon with lots of friends and influence. Thank you, Hebby. This was so much fun.
Next up is Prince Scallop, made by Anubyss. Scallop enjoys making sculptures and playing in the sand. He has become quite skilled at making temporary and beautiful art on the Sea Kingdom beaches. Unfortunately, he was injured severely when the Summer Palace was bombed, leading to him having a missing eye and many scars. He spent a long time in the care of the healers, underwater in the Deep Palace, and was unable to create his artworks, leading to him becoming sad and lethargic. However, now that there is peace, he has finally been able to return to the beaches, under the watchful eye of his protective brothers, of course. And now last, but definitely not least, Prince Atlantis, made by FlamingTea, whose colour palette I adore, and whose little baubles are just so cute. And now that all the Seawing princes are done, 31 of them, not including Turtle, but which does include our now completely named 28 Seawing princes, SOCKEYE, MUDSKIPPER, NAUTILUS, Seahorse, Ray, Jellyfish, Ripple, Isopod, Atlas, Seafoam, Blobfish, Reef, Oyster, Flameback, Corimbo, Sea Squirt, Voyage, MANTIS-SHRIMP, Azure, Undertow, Boto, Foam, Froth, Tamja, Eddy, Beluga, Atlantis and Scallop, as well as princesses and princes-in-law, Azimuth, Gale, Lorikeet, Tiger Lily, Coast, and Thresher. And that means we have finally gathered an army sufficient enough to take vengeance on a certain character for being a super creep to their sister. Thank you so much to Andinifla, who also made Prince Nautilus in Part 1, for this amazing edit. Oh, and since I will be picking the winner of the Wild Round vote systems for the next video from the comments, this is your last opportunity to cast your vote for this Wild Round. There's going to be more of these because they're fun, but this is the point where I'm counting up the votes for the first. Here's a final update on the scores as they stand, and as you can see, there's some pretty intense competition at the top. But don't be scared to vote for some of these less well-loved losers, because even if they don't win this time, I will be doing more of these in the future. And thank you so much to my Patreon members: Kimber, Cool Cloud, ADH Dream 1409, Kitten Mikey, Samuel Sanchez, Mono Deer, Aninka Lemason, Grey, Solvi, Phoenix Fire, I Like the Dumb Bunny Shrimp, Fennec is here, Troopercat, Poppy Willow, Indigo, Woilies, Fantasy, Skywing Dad, Jed Gore, Aussie Shark, The Starving Child, Ninja Kitty Awakens, Lime Sharks, Caroline T, Copa, Coco, Vanessa and Anara Burrows, Verla, Valiance, Rhythm the Raptor, Aliana, T Copper Silver, Lobster, Miffy Johnson, Victoria Toucan, Be the Cat, Racing Wolf, Grey Malkin, Gato Catamoose, The Wait Zaranek Fluffle, 8-Bit Beakle, ugh, She LOL, Anonymous Running Dragon, Nicole Sutherland, and Danger Noodles Are Cool. For each of you, a dragon's kiss. That's 44 dragon kisses. Thank you so much for keeping me on the plushie grind set, and more videos are coming soon. That one was more of a headbutt.